And you immediately like, Matteo, what the we just sat down. What the come on, let's order drink first and then we order food. You know, what are you in a rush? I'm having a hard time already understanding what the he's saying, and he's already attacking me. You, Sean Crystal.
I redeemed myself.
Yeah, you definitely redeemed yourself. You know, especially after the in the bathroom.
This is the Inkpulp podcast.
Welcome to the Inkpulp podcast. We are here today minus Eric, which means
again
the Fratelli again. What are we going to do about this guy?
The guy keeps sucking.
Totally keeps sucking, and he's a bit arrogant too. I think
a bit, just a bit. You think? Oh my God.
Okay, I was being kind, but yeah, he's an asshole.
Being kind, yeah. No, he's actually, he's actually sick. So, you know,
yeah, feel better, Eric.
Yeah, or not,
or maybe
who cares,
or maybe not. Hey, so I see you've got your microphone, the pop filters in the right direction now.
Yeah, finally, you assholes. Yeah. Jesus, man.
So if you look at the old episodes, you'll see.
And an old episode with Eric, I told him, like, you dick, you should have told me. You actually made me turn it the wrong way.
Oh, did you guys talk about that when I wasn't on there?
Yeah. Because the day before, Jamie told me, "Hey, Matteo, I'm looking at the recordings and listening to them, and I think you're doing it the wrong way. I think you should turn it a different way," which was, the way I was using it in the first place. But you assholes told me to turn it. So. You were like, "Oh, now it's better. No, now it's better." Yeah. Jesus.
I just wonder. I wonder if we did that on purpose, just to fuck with you. We had to.
No, I don't think so. No. You're just dumb. So, I took this off. I took this off because they're super foggy. Because I don't know if I already spoke about it here on the podcast, but the way I wear sunglasses, I never wear them on my eyes, actually. I always wear them here.
Yeah, you haven't spoken about this on the show. Yeah. Right, talk about this, because I know this from real life.
So basically, I think it happened when I was starting to realize that I was about to get bald soon. So I needed something to make me feel safe and a little bit less insecure about my soon-to-be baldness. So I started wearing sunglasses, never wear them like my whole life. And I kind of like the fact that they cover here. And I don't know, I like the way they look on me. But the fact is that I never wear them on my eyes. So after a while, this is the pair that I use like normally, like basically every day, anytime I leave the house. And they're crusty as fuck. Like you can't see anything if you wear it on the eyes, because I just wear it on my oily forefront. How do you call it?
Your greasy olive oil forehead.
Yeah, my forehead. And it's funny every time now I have like 2 or 3 pairs. I don't need many, but it was funny the first times I would go and buy them at the shop, at the store. I would just hide to wear them because I don't care about, actually wearing them. I got to try if they fit perfectly on my forehead. And, I got to test if they stay, put. If I move, all of a sudden they don't fall and stuff like that. So I would look really dumb because I would look at myself in the mirror like this, while usually you see people like wearing them. I would wear them like this and this. Just try and move my head real fast to see if they hold on. So, yeah.
Meanwhile, every bald guy walks in the store and does the same thing. They're like, look at this fucking bald idiot. So, and then you get indents in your forehead.
Oh yeah,
forehead,
yeah.
right?
After a while, yeah, you can see here. I just wear them for a few seconds, and already you can see. Jesus. All right, well, that's my life now. So, but but
I've never known you've always seen. Go ahead. What were you
yeah,
gonna say?
no. Say.
I was just gonna say I've always known you to just be happy with who you are and how you look. I didn't realize you had this insecurity about you.
No, I something that I realized
hairline.
after that I was wearing them to cover that. I didn't realize it in the first place.
Okay.
Because I still had hair when I started, but
Right.
looking back at it, it was a moment in which I was realizing, oh shit, okay, the hair is not gonna last forever for me. But
Right.
so I wasn't doing it consciously, but in my head I was just like, oh, they look cool, awesome, that's it. And instead, I was starting to process my loss. I was already mourning.
Well, maybe I need to start doing that. Maybe I should start doing it because
no, I think you're
my
fine.
hair used to be here.
Well, yeah, but at this point, you're like 72, so I think you're good. No, like my what do you call, my barber told me that once you get like around 40 or something, it's gonna be less and less, but really slow. Like the process is gonna be really slow. So once you're there,
so I have some
at
hope.
this point of your life, I think you're gonna be good. Like, so
Yes.
yeah. At least one thing going right.
I've got one thing going for me. Just one.
So yeah, but yeah, at first it was kind of painful, like losing my hair, especially because for years I used to go with it's not a ponytail. It's like more of a Japanese style, like the
you had a man bun.
Man bun. And I really enjoyed it
Yeah.
so I kept it for years and years. So at first it was kind of painful because I loved my look back then. But yeah, I made peace with it. And for a second I was like, well, but there's transplants and stuff. And then I was like, yeah, but if you get a transplant, then you got to take pills and shit. It's not that it just, you get the transplant. And that's
you
it.
looked into that.
Kind of, like, I might be wrong. Maybe some of the 10 people listening maybe is an expert and will tell us
the people you
otherwise. Yeah, the bots.
The bots.
The ones that tell me by email, no, you look awesome. You're the best. You're the best person on earth because I pay them. And so I kind of looked into that. But from what I understand, you have to keep taking stuff after the transplant for it to take. And not only that, like in order to keep the hair strong and stuff like that, you gotta keep taking stuff, which is
I've heard that.
I'd rather make peace with who I am now. And by the way, I've been bald for a few years now. It'd be weird, like all of a sudden, like pop up with hair again. Like, what happened? Nothing. What?
Man bun, bald, man bun.
Yeah. What happened? Nothing. What? Was being bald on purpose.
I wasn't bald. I was shaving my head.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of looks, like, what is this thing about me wearing makeups?
I was just going to bring that up. Let me just ask one more question. I'm going to get to that.
Yeah.
So did your hair fall out fast? Like, because I remember you cut your man bun and you had short hair. How long did that short hair last before?
So when I cut them, it was, I would say 2016. And then and it wasn't that bad when I cut them, but you could see
I remember.
it was, it wasn't good. Okay. But still I could afford to have,
not hopeful.
to still have hair on my head instead of just, just shaving. And then it took, I would say maybe like 3 years, 3 years.
Oh, okay.
for me to surrender.
That's pretty fast, yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
But now I got used to it, so now I look at myself and I kind of like myself, so I'm good. Also,
Yeah, honestly, you do look good with a bald head.
yeah, thanks, brother. And also,
Yeah.
especially lately, I've been pretty happy because I'm finally managing to lose some weight. You can't see it here because
Awesome.
I tend to to gain weight in my lower parts. So
we've talked about
normally
this.
here, yeah,
You're like a woman.
yeah, I'm shaped like a woman, and that should have been my nickname for this episode: shaped like a woman, Scalera. And so yeah, so again, you can't see it here because my face usually stays the same. My shoulder, I might gain some fat on my chest. I was about to say my tits, but my chest.
You get man tits. Yeah.
But in general, you don't see it on the upper part on my body. So I lost like around 10, 12 pounds now. So the plan is to lose another.
Is it exercise?
Exercise. Well, I'm still exercising the same. This summer, like this last couple of months, I've been doing like 3 trainings per week, instead of the normal 2, because during the summer I don't have a lot of other commitments, so I have more time on my hand. So I decided to push a little bit more in the gym.
That's good.
And no, it's mainly food. I'm managing, strangely enough, to put a break on myself and not to go too crazy and not become the dumb shark too much. And
just shoveling pasta.
Yeah, and if I do, because usually it happens when I'm with friends, I'm having dinner with friends or lunch at Sunday with friends or family. This is where that's where the dumb shark takes over. And if that happens, because sometimes it happens, like if it was a lunch, for example, I want to have dinner, just to compensate a little bit, And and in general, I'm being very disciplined during the week. So especially at dinner, which is what fucks me usually, because I'm super hungry at dinner. What I do is just I just resist temptations and stuff, and I just
So for you, it's not about what you eat; it's just about portion control.
Portions, yeah, because in general we eat very healthy at home. We don't have like chocolate stuff.
Yeah.
We have some chips, but we're not used to to have them. I mean, usually we take them out if we have gas, just as an appetizer before lunch or dinner. So and in general, I don't drink at home unless we order pizza. So I'll share a beer with my girlfriend, but other than that, I'm not. At home, I'm pretty disciplined. But the amount of food,
me too.
It's what fucks me at dinner, because at lunch or breakfast, I'm really good with it. I weigh everything.
Right. Yeah, that's the same with me. I'm really regimented with healthy breakfast and lunch. But dinner I can go hard on. But I also train pretty hard at the gym, and I eat right after my workout.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I'm doing okay there. But on weekends, I allow desserts on weekends, and sometimes I get out of hand with that.
Yeah, no, those I try to avoid them. There's nothing in the house, and
you live in Italy.
Yeah, but I gotta do it. Otherwise, I'll turn into a whale. In a few weeks. And the other thing that fucks me during dinner is that my girlfriend, she has this superpower. Maybe I already talked about it, but she has this superpower which she just knows when the meal is over. Like she knows, like, okay, I'm full now. So for her, it's not a problem to just take a bunch of stuff from the fridge on the table and then decide on the moment if she's gonna eat it or not, or maybe I'm just gonna take a small bite of this and a small bite of that. And I'm not like that. Like
Oh, wow.
I gotta
No, I'm not.
destroy everything that touches the table, you know. So I'm not able.
That's how. Yeah.
You know, the only way.
That's how we are at cons.
Yeah. So the only way I can do it, especially for me, I'm vegetarian, so the main proteins for me are in cheese, which is fat as well. So you got to be really careful with it. So the only thing thing that I can do is to weight it beforehand. So I weighed it. I know how much I can eat.
Oh.
And then I put that amount on the table. But, you know.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. The problem is that my girlfriend doesn't do that. So even if I weigh it, then it's still in front of me. So I got to kill that motherfucker. I can't. Or either that, or I'm going to tell her, hey, listen, are you going to eat that? And if she says no, then, okay, I'm going to put it back in the fridge because it can't stay in front of me for too long, you know. So it's a kind of addiction.
I love how aggressive you were.
Oh yeah.
It's so
I get aggressive.
Are you going to eat that?
Yeah, it's amazing because, like, to me, food is so amazing, and you know that because it's the same with you. But at the same time, it's
absolutely
it's a fucking. It can be an enemy. In a second, it can turn into an enemy. So you know, it's dangerous.
Sure, especially as you get older.
Oh yeah. But on the other hand, I gotta say that every time in my life, when I reach to a certain level of fat, I would say, I have there's a point in which I'm like, okay, no, this is too much. You gotta dial it back, and I always succeed.
What is that point for you? Like, when do you realize it's too much and you need to lose some weight?
It depends. It's moments. Like, I remember the heaviest that I've ever been. It was right at the end of a long, like, a 2-month stay in the States. The States, like, for me, I love the States, but they're terrible because they, like, the portions and stuff, they kill me. And so
and
after,
we have shit in our food too.
Yeah, and after 2 months of staying there, I reached I think 205.
Oh my God.
Yeah, which is the heaviest I've ever been in my life. And I remember one of the last trips because what I was doing, I was seeing friends, and we had 2 weddings in that period that I wanted to attend. One was Eric's, actually, and the other one was Jason's.
Right.
And I remember in between, I did various shows. So almost every weekend I had a show. And I remember, I think it was a flight from Canada back to the States, or to Canada. But I clearly remember the moment because we landed, and it was a kind of bumpy landing, and I felt my tits like bouncing like like this. And immediately, I remember Jason was right next to me, and I was like, Jason was like, what? I gotta lose weight. This is too much. I just felt my teeth bouncing. I gotta do something. And you know, as soon as I got back home, I lost some weight. I didn't get skinny, of course, but you know, it did something to me. So
that's when the weight loss challenge began with me, you, and Eric, right?
Oh yeah. I know that was later. I was gaining weight, but I never. No, I wasn't that heavy. But yeah. So that was the thing.
All right. Okay. Now I want to get into this.
Yeah.
So remember, Eric started a segment, "Stupid Questions." What was it called? "Stupid Questions and Stupid Answers."
Ask me a stupid question, and you'll get a stupid answer or something.
Okay, right.
By the way, we never continued.
I got a comment. I know. That's what I'm hoping we can get back to that. Look, we're going to be recording the podcast more and more, just me, you, and Eric.
Mm-hmm.
I think we are the heart of the show. It's been great having guests, and we'll have guests here and there, but I think we've been having too many guests. because we have a lot we all need to discuss amongst each other. So
yeah, especially because you don't want to lose the original
Right.
nature of this thing, which was
Right.
three friends that don't
Exactly.
have a lot of
So
time
I got a
to,
comment
you know,
on
to see each other and
on
talk.
one of the podcasts.
And
someone asked if Matteo was wearing foundation on the podcast. Foundation is like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like the base that mostly women put on their face to like make it even.
you know what
You know
happened?
what I'm talking
I
about?
lost you because you froze. I was talking about something,
Oh,
and you froze,
okay.
and
Yeah,
then all of a sudden you unfroze, and you were already mid subject. So I
okay.
completely
I'll
lost it.
start over.
Yeah.
I'll start over.
Yeah.
So I got a comment on one of the podcasts that asked if Matteo was wearing foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, foundation is like the base layer of makeup that mostly women put on. It like makes everything even.
Yeah.
So they wanted to know if you were wearing makeup. And I thought that was hilarious.
No,
so
it's
Matteo,
my
do you wear
natural
makeup for the podcast?
It's my natural beauty. But if you want, like, I have to remember this, and I gotta remember to tell Jamie as well. We'll post a picture of me with makeup, and you'll see. Oh my god, how sexy I am! I even wear a wig in that picture, so I'll share it with you.
Wait, what is this? Wait. What is the? You have a picture of you in makeup and a wig?
A lot of pictures, yeah. It's
why?
It was a few years ago. My girlfriend and I went to London because I was invited to a show, and she it was her first comic book convention ever. So she was super excited. She was walking around watching, cosplayers and stuff, and she decided to buy a wig. There was a huge wig store. And so she decided to buy one. So we spent a lot of time with her trying them on. So she went with a blue and pink one. And then when we got back home, she was trying it on. And then I decided to try it on. And she was like, hey, let's try to, let's try to put makeup on you as well and see how you look, because you look good with this wig. So we did the whole thing, and I even dressed up. Like I put some of her clothes, like a few of them that would fit me. So I have pictures. So we'll post them here. All right.
Please,
Okay.
Jamie, please get those to Jamie, and Jamie, please put that in the podcast.
This could be a great moment, a defining moment for the podcast, because people will either like us more. We'll see which kind of fans we have, depending on the reaction. Because they could either
Matteo
really like us more or fucking hate us.
Oh my God! Are you coming out right now on the podcast? Is that what's happening?
I just love wearing makeup and women dresses, women clothes,
and women's clothes.
That's my secret. Sometimes I
So
do drag shows
like
and stuff.
Was this was this something Francesca wanted as like foreplay? She wanted to see you all dressed up as a woman?
No, it was just for fun. We were just talking about it. And we didn't have anything to do. It was a lazy weekend. We didn't have the kid yet. So we had time on our hands, and we decided, why not? Let's just be stupid and do it.
I mean, I can honestly say, as bored as I've had times in my life, I've never had on a woman's dress or makeup, but okay.
No, you know what? If you this is gonna be so fun, because back then there's been a time in which I loved I do being a sort of shapeshifter. So I would disguise. Yeah, I would just for fun. I would disguise myself, or I just put. It was the early days of Photoshop, so I had just learned to do stuff. So I would use some of my pictures and put them on movies or other characters or naked women with my face. I remember one time there was this famous porn star, and and she had huge boobs, and I put the same face twice, one of one boob and one of the other boob, just for fun. I wanted to fuck around with Photoshop, and so I have a bunch, like a full folder with those pictures. Some of are just Photoshop shit, and some others is just me transforming, like disguised as something or something else, like with glasses,
So when
with
you would
weird hairstyle.
When you would get in these disguises, would you just do it alone in your house, or did you go out in public like this?
No, actually, some of them were in public. Like I remember one of those was on a train. That's basically it all started from there. It was on a train, and I decided my friend had this brown leather jacket, was super tight on me, and I wanted to try it, and then I put my hair like this. I don't know how to say it in English. And back then, I just shaved my beard entirely, and I look like a fucking.
Oh wow!
Oh, I look like a child molester or something. Oh my god!
Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then I did it again at school. More or less same outfit. So back then, I was doing the school of comic books in Milan. So I stole some stuff from one of my classmates. So I still have those. So I'll pass them along to Jamie.
Dude.
So it will be fun.
Me and my roommate. So I understand what you're saying, because me and my roommate in college, sometimes if it was like a slow Friday night, we'd get really, really stoned, and then we'd just dress up in like the most obscure, weird things we could come up with, and then go to the 7-Eleven, which was like a convenience store, and just get like a Snapple. And like, so every now and then the same clerk would see us coming in totally different clothes, looking totally different and acting totally different. And we would leave and we'd be laughing hysterically. And the next morning we'd wake up, be like, I think we're the only ones that think that's funny. Like,
usually that's
what
happens. Yeah, the fun is just in your head, and everybody else is just disgusted. But so my main reason was just to take pictures because I thought it was fun, not so much like acting amongst people, But it happened. Yeah, it happened that I did it with people around. So. But yeah,
you got to find these pictures. You got to find.
Oh yeah, I have them. I'm already sure of it. I had them on my phone. I make sure that folder never got lost. So yeah.
Awesome.
I have,
awesome.
Also amongst them, like the friend that gave me that leather jacket on the train is back then he was studying at a fashion school. So it was inspired by that picture that he took, and he decided to do for his exam, his final exam, and I have those too. He decided to do a complete photo shoot as a stylist for his stylist test. With it, he did it with me, like dressed up with crazy clothes, like with a motorcycle, like long socks, weird shorts. Like it's amazing with another leather jacket. So those were great. So I'll pick some of them and we'll show them.
Yeah, Jamie will get them all in the show.
Absolutely,
That's fucking hilarious.
That'd be amazing.
All right, so now the big question. I got the big question for you. So we were talking offline, me, Eric, and Matteo, and Jamie had suggested to me that we kind of tell our origin stories of how we met. I think I said something on a podcast once about how I met Eric or Matteo. So I said, hey guys, we should do this. And then Matteo was like, oh yeah, we should do this. And then you said, because?
Well, because you were kind of a dick without wanting to be, and in retrospect, like, I can describe exactly what happened because you probably don't remember. So I can describe exactly what happened, even in your head. Even in your head, because now that I know you,
do it all.
I know why you would do something like that. But back then, I didn't know because I didn't know you. So if I was,
dude,
that guy's kind of a
so
dick.
when you said that, when you said that on the text thread, I felt so awful for days. I was like, I told Steph, I was like, Matteo thought I was a dick when we first met.
You'll see, it's not that bad. And actually, like the reason is a cultural difference. So, but you will understand as I'm talking, you'll understand what happened. And it's not.
So tell me.
Yeah.
Tell me why, how I was a dick the first.
Well, first of all, like. Help me out because I want to make sure that was the first time that we met. But from my memories, the first time we were, I don't remember where. It might have been Chicago. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like when
it was Chicago.
Oh, okay.
I was just going to say it was Chicago.
So, and it was a dinner, or did we meet earlier at the show?
I think we met at the show first. I think Shawn introduced us because he had just signed up with Jason and was first time sitting with Jason.
Okay, we're talking about Shawn Murphy for those listeners.
Yeah. So I would come over to talk to Shawn, and you were right there, and we met. And I also knew of you because we were both working on Deadpool at the same time. And I remember my editor was like, "Oh, you should look at what Matteo's doing too. You guys are doing some fun stuff." So
So
that's
it
when
was
we met,
Chicago. Yeah, awesome. And do you remember the year? That I don't remember.
It was the first year Shawn was with Jason. It was probably 2000.
I can find it because I have my emails here. So I divide my emails for in folders for tickets and stuff. I have a Chicago.
You have emails that old?
I have I put them all on a folder, and then I forget to erase them. No, I have a Chicago 2017, but that was the third time when I went back to Chicago. So no, I don't have it here.
It was probably 2012 or 2013.
Yeah, around those years. Yeah. And because I was working on Deadpool, so I started around 2010. I worked on it for mainly Deadpool team up I was doing. And
yes, it was.
So that was 2000, in between 11, 12, 13, something like that.
Yeah, around there.
Probably definitely. 12. And so we met at a show. I don't remember that moment because that wasn't when you were an asshole. You were nice. But then we had the chance to spend more time together at dinner. I don't remember if it was the same night or the night after. We had dinner, and I remember for sure that Rick Remender was there.
Yeah.
And then I don't recall if anyone else was there. I recall a fourth or a fifth person, but I'm not sure.
I think Shawn was there, maybe.
Maybe Shawn? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So,
because I think I remember him asking, "Can Matteo come along with us?" And I was like, "Sure, we got room."
Okay. So, and this is where my explanation starts. Okay, so, and in general, those were the first years where I was starting to go to the States and stay for longer periods. Usually I would just go and then go back home. All right. So there's a lot of small things in general, cultural things. They're way different between our cultures. All right. And it's really small things. Okay. But one of this is the way how to order in the States. And I still wasn't familiar with that. So let me explain first what you do in Italy. So in Italy, you arrive, the waiter tells you where your table is. You sit down, then they give you the menu, And then they wait like for 5-10 minutes, depending. And then the waiter comes back and they start asking you what you want to eat. So they start asking you what you want for appetizer, first course, second course. They don't ask you for the dessert. That's for us, for next, for later. And then they ask you what you want to drink. So that's the last part. All right.
Oh, okay.
Instead, in the States, that's completely different. In the States, you sit down, then they bring your menu, and the waiter that brings the menu asks you what you want to drink. And then they give you time to explore the menu, and then they come back for food. All right. So back then, I wasn't used to that. And even if I experienced that earlier at some dinners, my head was so scattered and stuff like that, I couldn't focus on those small details because I was so focused on understanding everyone. Because back then, my English wasn't the English that I have now. So my English was okay, but I couldn't understand. Like, I couldn't understand other conversation. I could pick like 60% of it, 70 at most, but not all of it. And it was really, really hard for me, especially if it was like many people at the table. It was really, really hard. And especially if the conversation got really technical about some technical stuff, that would be almost impossible to me. So in general, I wasn't really focused on how things got done in the States. I was more focused on understanding English and understanding people. That was my thing. So they bring menus, and then after a while, and mind you, I'm vegetarian, so my choosing for me is way easier than for a normal person, right? Because I have a very small amount of options usually, unless it's a vegetarian restaurant. Right. So,
do you remember what type of restaurant we went to? Was it a steakhouse?
No, not at all. I don't remember the restaurant.
Okay.
So the waiter comes back, and of course she's expecting us to order the drinks, and instead I'm doing the Italian thing. So I'm doing I'm gonna get this, and so I was starting already ordering food because to me that's what you do, and you immediately Matteo, what the fuck? We just sat down. What the fuck? Come on, let's order drink first, and then we order food. What are you in a rush? And I was like, no, but, and then, you guys started talking, and I wasn't able to, construct my old defense. Like, I'm Italian and blah, 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 because here we do this, and over there we do that and that. So you just brushed it off and kept talking. I was like, this motherfucking asshole, like, I'm not even from here. I'm having a hard time already understanding what the fuck he's saying. And he's already attacking me. Fuck you, Sean Crystal. So yeah. So, but again, in retrospect.
All right, now, but did I say it like? Was I like being like a friendly, busting your balls? Like that side of me now, or was I just being a dick?
You were annoyed, but really briefly. You didn't start. You didn't want to bash me or anything. You just sat there and like, Mattteo, what the fuck? We just sat down and relaxed. What, you're in a rush? Come on, we order the food later. Let's just order drinks. Then we started ordering. I was like, all right. And that's it. And then it was gone. And that's it. Yeah. So that was my first experience with you. So, but in retrospect, again, I know the way you are, especially usually you're the guy who sets everything up. So you probably picked the restaurant and you really cared about that dinner. Probably. So you were really involved because I see you every time you're looking at everybody. You want to make sure that everybody's happy and stuff like that, especially during dinner. So I understand where you now in retrospect, I understand where you were coming from. But back then I didn't know. I just thought it was fucking asshole.
But dude, I am sorry.
No,
that
you
was
don't
an
have to
asshole
be.
Thing of me to do.
No, not even that because you didn't know.
Because now if I said it, I'd just be fucking like now I'd just be busting your balls. But we weren't familiar enough back then for me to be doing that.
No, but not only that, you weren't familiar with the fact that I didn't know a lot of stuff about the U.S. culture. You thought just, there was another guy hanging out with you. So,
Right.
And you couldn't know that for me, it wasn't a thing that I knew,
So as the dinner went on, were you angry at me for the entire meal?
No. I immediately let it go. That's what you do, especially because, we went for a couple of hours, probably. I don't remember how long the dinner lasted, but, we went for drinks and stuff like that. So it was done. I forgot. I didn't forget about it, evidently, but it was water under the bridge immediately.
Because, this is the first time I'm hearing of this, and that was like 10 years ago. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, the whole time is Matteo, like, Shawn was just such an asshole that first dinner.
No, not at all. It's not something that I thought after that. So you're good, brother. Good.
By the end of the meal, awesome. So by the end of the meal, we were cool.
You froze again. Let's wait for a second.
I think
oh shit!
You're freezing, or I'm freezing. Someone's freezing.
It's probably my stupid connection. Okay, here you go.
Yeah, there. Yeah.
All right.
So by the end of the meal, we were cool. You were cool with me.
Yeah, totally.
I redeemed myself.
Yeah, you definitely redeemed yourself. Especially after the blowjob in the bathroom. So.
Well, you're a sexy Italian foreign man. right. Oh, that was you. It was the glory hole. I didn't know who was on the other side of things.
No, you said, Mattteo, what the fuck? It's too early. We got to drink first.
You got to start with your hand, Matteo. Come on. You're jumping the gun.
But yeah, that was the whole thing. So it wasn't a big deal. Again, it was fun because
good.
It's always nice for me to see the cultural differences, and I have a lot of friends in the States, and I talk to them, so it's nice. It's always cool to me. I'm always fascinated in general with people. So whenever I see a difference between the two cultures, it makes me wonder, like, why these people do this and these other people that grew up in a different place do that. And,
Yeah, I love that stuff too. And it's one of the reasons I think, like, one of the most important things you can do with your life is travel and experience other cultures, because it gives you a better sense of life and purpose and a better understanding of people. And I think that's the good stuff in life. So I like that too. That's good stuff.
Definitely.
I see. My memory of the first time we met was, like I said, you were sitting at the essential sequential table, and at the time it was small. It was you, Eric, but I don't think Eric was at that show. Shawn just signed up.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, Tim, and I think Dave. Well, I don't know if Dave was there, but it was one of the first clients, and the same time, more or less around the same time that I became one of Jason's clients. It was Dave Johnson, Andrew Robinson, and Dan Panosian. So that was and I think Mindy Lee maybe, or
okay.
Axel Ortiz as well. And
who?
Axel Ortiz. I think he works in animation now. He's a really cool guy.
I know the name. Yeah. Oh, he was with Jason?
He was, I think, technically he still is. I should check on Jason's website.
Oh.
But yeah.
Nice. All right, cool. Because so Shawn was like, I remember he was like, hey, I don't know if it was that dinner, but I remember Shawn saying like, hey, do you mind if Matteo joins us? And I was like, no, that's totally fine. And that weekend, I remember Shawn, I think he was just like Hellblazer was coming out and he was becoming really popular, just starting to. And so there was a lot of times where Shawn was pulled another direction and me and you would just end up hanging out.
Yeah.
And then I remember talking to Shawn. I was like, he's such a good guy. Like, he's so easy to get along with and so like fun to talk to and easygoing. And here I am thinking this, realizing you had the opposite impression of me.
No, again, it was
this guy's
the first. I would say if it lasted, I would be surprised if it lasted more than 5 minutes. So
right, okay.
So it wasn't a long thing. Like, it's not that for years I hated you, and I'm still planning like for my revenge. Like, I'm waiting for the right moment.
The whole Fratelli brothers thing is a ruse to lure me in.
But again,
but we became very close, quick friends after that show. I remember that. Yeah. And then I remember one thing I did want to ask you. I think we have enough time to talk about this. I always described you as like human Xanax, because just being around you was really calming. Like you always felt good being around Matteo, and it was something Remender and me and a lot of people would say, like, Matteo's just like, it's like you're just a ball of like happiness, and so being around you just felt calm and happy. But there was one year at Heroes Con you were not doing well, and it was this was years ago. You were I think you had just got a prescription for Xanax, even, because you were having a lot of like anxiety.
Yeah.
And I remember like just wanting to be there for you and help you out. But I remember you asked Eric if you were any good, if the work you were doing was just shit, and if you should leave this career. Do you remember that?
Yeah. It was a bad time of my life. Nothing incredible happened. I was just worn out for a really bad and toxic relationship, and I'm not saying that the other person was a bad person. Just it's the way that we worked together. It wasn't working well, and it was exhausting for both of us. And back then, I think we broke up in March of that year, probably February or early that year. And after all of that, like, we tried for like an hour, 1 year and a half, between a lot of like breakups and getting back together and all that stuff, and drugs and everything. Like, everything was involved in there, from the smallest to the craziest stuff in that relationship was involved. And I just broke down at a certain point. Like, I was just destroyed by this whole thing. And I think the thing that killed me, I think, was that she, despite the fact that I was the one that decided to break it up and to end it, after like a few months, she started dating somebody, and I think that, I don't know, that brought back something. And I was like, for
I remember
a moment,
you talking about that.
I had really anxiety problems came up, and it didn't last long. I did like a few months with Xanax, because I was actually like having problems actually working. So it was really a practical use of Xanax, because my hands were shaking a lot, so I couldn't use the brush properly. So I needed it. So I wouldn't take huge dosages of it, like really small pills. At the minimum, I think it's 0.25 something. So I wasn't even using it to sleep. I was having trouble sleeping, but not that much. It was more for work that I had to use it for a brief moment. Yeah, absolutely.
And during all that, you were doing 1 monthly book or 2 monthly books at the time, I think?
I was doing, it was June, probably 2014, something like it. So
yeah, that sounds about right.
I
think you were on Hulk.
Uh, maybe I don't remember. I don't remember. For sure, I was doing Black Science already, and probably something else. Plus shows
Oh,
and stuff
yeah.
because I was still doing a lot of
Yeah,
shows
those
back then.
first
So
right. And when you started Black Science, you were finishing off some Marvel work, so you were doing both at the same
yeah,
time, is
yeah,
that
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. I was doing. There's been a time in which I was doing Marvel stuff, and then some Skybound, which is still Image, and then I started doing
Right.
Black Science in the meantime. So there's been a time in which I was doing I was doing really too much stuff.
Was the Skybound, was that Dead Body Road?
Dead Body Road, yeah, with Justin Jordan,
Okay.
which is actually
Right,
like
right.
the writer of Urban Animal that John Amore
Right.
is,
That's
is
right.
doing. So
That's cool. So how did you get through this? Was it just time
it was
and
just time.
Xanax?
Yeah, it's just time. I knew already. It was a matter of time, so I had to wait, and it's it. And usually, those things. It's funny how, in general, like the whole process of, in general, either losing somebody because they die, or a huge breakup with a girlfriend, in general,
Right. Right.
mourning and stuff like that. It has specific timings, and usually it's divided in
Right.
in either 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, or 24 months, depending on the gravity of the weight of the whole thing, the nature of the suffering. So for
Sure,
me,
sure. The grieving
yeah,
period.
the
Yeah.
grieving period. And so for me, it was, in general, I would say I was out of it in 6 months. Yeah. 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 It was still
Okay.
resentment and
So,
stuff after, but it wasn't
sure.
conditioning my life that much. It wasn't waiting on the rest of my, life that much. But yeah, in that moment, I was questioning a lot
Sure.
of my
Sure.
life, and plus again, there was drugs involved and all that shit. So it was a
Yeah,
pretty rough
I
time.
well, you mean drugs other than the Xanax, like recreational
Yeah, no, no,
drugs?
no. Yeah, I'm talking about drugs, not medicines. Yeah,
Right, right.
I
Okay.
wasn't shooting heroin, just to, okay, it wasn't that bad, but in general, yeah, it was pretty rough.
It was pretty wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you asked Eric that question, I was just like, "Oh my God, that's a horrible place to be." Um, and I remember Eric like just shocked you asked him that. But yeah, what was going on with your art at that time? Was it just everything? And
I
like, did
didn't.
you really look at your art like it was awful?
Oh yeah, yeah, and it was like, I can tell. Like I remember the specific issue I was doing in Black Science, and I remember the time, because back then, I was working on it, was came pretty easy after a while, because it was our
Hmm.
book. I already knew all the character, so I would start, just sometimes I didn't need to just start from page one and then page two and then page three. I could work back and forth, go back to one page to page two, and then work on page 22, and then page 15, 16, 17, and then back to four, for example. And I can see in that issue, uh, I might even, I'll find out later which issue it was. But I remember the moment, as I was working on that issue, that I started to feel good again, and I starting to find again the pleasure of doing it.
Oh,
and
right.
and I could tell, like, of that issue, I I can pick up. Okay, this is a page I did when I was still in the hole, and this is a page that I did. I can still distinguish the two groups of pages: the ones that I did after I started feeling better, and the ones that I did before. Because I didn't have energy,
I
and to do comic books, you
okay.
gotta have the energies, and I didn't have them, man.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
I would, yeah, if you can find that out, and I'll put it in the description, I would love to look back at that and see if I can see a difference. I wonder if it's just an emotional thing where when you see it, you can see the feelings, but I wonder if I could see it or anyone else could see it. I'm curious.
No, I mean, the reason, like if I showed you the issue and point out the pages, when I tell you that they were worse, they were really worse. Like I'm not saying it's just to say, oh, I'm bad, I'm an asshole. No, they were
No, I get
technically
that.
worse. Yeah.
Did
We're not horrible.
Did Rick pick up on it and say anything to you?
What?
Right. Did Rick say anything to you? Like, what's going on?
No, because they weren't that bad. They were still,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's where the professional aspect of my personality kicks in,
Right.
which is every other professionals. Like probably as we're talking, there's out of 1,000 comic book artists, there's probably 600 that today don't feel like doing it, but they're doing it anyways.
Right.
And that's the professional part of view of the person, even if I don't feel like it, I'll do it anyways. And I'll try to maintain a certain level of quality in my work, even though this is not the best day to do it, So
that, that being said, with the stuff you're doing now, the create your own book, are you just having a ton of fun doing it?
Yeah. It's fun. It's fun because, and again, there's always going to be that day that starts and you're not feeling it. And for like the first 3 hours, you're stuck on the same panel. And it's the simple, like fucking, profile of a woman. And I don't know why the fuck, but today I can't draw that. And you got to stay on it. It's frustrating. You get mad. You smoke like 500 cigarettes. But then something, unlocks and you can, go. Or sometimes it never unlocks and you're like, fuck it. You either stop doing it and do something else, or you accept that this page is going to suck and you keep doing it. And that's it. Because it's, at the end of the day, it's going to be 1 out of 180 pages. So I'll have the chance. I know myself and I know that I have a chance to redeem myself in the next, few pages.
So that one page is like the first time you had dinner with Shawn.
Yeah.
That one. All right, cool. All right, so since I just kind of did brought it back to a full circle. What's the comedy term? Recall? No, not a recall.
Callback? No.
What's it called in callback? Yeah. Had a little callback there. All right, so we're about done here. Is there anything else you were hoping we'd talk about?
Did anything like that happen to you and your either currently or in your career that's some exterior, some stuff happening outside of comics in general in your life starting to affect even positively, depending your work or moments in which you are like, no, this might not be my way. Maybe I wasn't done for making comics.
Yeah, I think I spent the first 5 to 10 years thinking that, like just like thinking everything I did was terrible and just saying to myself, just keep doing it. You'll get better. And I think like that's where, like, I mean, you knew me during that time period. In my original podcast, I was so depressed all the time. Mm-hmm. And it was, I don't think it was because of the art. I just think it was my mindset during all that time. So yeah. I mean, so when I heard you say that, I was like, oh fuck, if Matteo's not good enough, that means I'm really fucked. Like, that kind of scared me when I heard you ask that.
I don't think it was I'm not good enough. It was more like, do I really want to be a comic book artist? It was a little different. Like, is this going to bring me happiness? Because I'm not happy right now. And then I realized that it was just me not being happy and not comic books. It didn't have anything to do with comic books. It would just reflect on my books because I wasn't happy. So it was,
Yeah, I think I internalized it differently than you probably said it, because it was just like anything I could do to make myself feel worse, I grabbed onto at the time. I don't know why.
That's why you do a podcast with Eric and I.
just to get abused.
but yeah, no, in general, and in general, it never happened to you that you were so unhappy that you were almost unable to draw, or it affected your art?
Yeah. No, I'm not exaggerating. Whenever I sat down to draw, that's what I had to deal with that every day of my life. Like, and I was teaching full time. So every time I sat down to draw, it was like I had to wrestle this monster of anxiety to just start.
Yeah.
And the whole act of drawing, like, I mean, once I got into the zone, I would do a drawing where I'd be like, oh, that's good. Like, that one's good.
Yeah.
But generally it was like, yeah, I just like, I felt like I was holding on to my career by one little thread, and I wasn't going to let go.
Yeah.
But I was worried that the industry would let go.
Yeah.
And then that kind of, and then then that kind of happened like 5-6 years ago, where the industry just kind of let go. And then I was like, oh, and that's when I started to feel good about my work.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I separated myself from everything. I was like, I'm just going to keep doing what I do and grow and be me, instead of trying to like run this race that everyone was running.
Yeah. It
So
can
yeah,
affect you,
I lived in that
understand.
space. Yeah. But I lived in that space for a long time. It was not fun. Not fun.
And going back to what you were saying about, you said that you were talking to Rick about me, about the fact that, you know, I'm human Xanax. It's funny that you say that, because I think it's a kind of skill that I developed from, you know, since when I was a kid, because I've always had to deal with two very anxious parents. So I can spot immediately anxiety in the room. And by the way, like, I suffer from it. Like, I'm not, like, clinically, I don't suffer from anxiety, but I know what it is. Like, there's some people that are totally fully immune from anxiety. No, I feel, you know, anxiety at times, you know. It's not a heavy anxiety.
Sure.
It's something I can manage, but, you know, I know anxiety. And I can spot it immediately in people, because I'm used to, you know, try to defend myself a lot from anxiety, because a lot of anxiety was put on me. So that's why I have a lot of tricks to fight it, basically, you know. So to fight it, when I see in other people, I know to react and, you know, how to move in order not to be, I don't know, like infected by you know, others people anxiety, you know, so.
Totally. And the funny thing is you were the first person I met that had that quality, but I've always been told I have it. Like, like before I even knew you, like, Rick would just be having a really bad anxiety moment, and I'd be like, Rick, just me and you, let's go out, get some drinks and dinner together. And he would totally calm down, and he'd be like, you're like my Xanax, Shawn. And like, we'd room together. So you were the first person I met. And the thing is, like, while everyone's telling me how calming I am and how chill I am, in my head, I'm a fucking freak show. So I'm like, it's just all in here. No one can see it. So meeting you, I was like, oh my God, I know what that's like. But yeah, I think it comes from the same thing, like just a tumultuous household and just so much, like with my sister in particular, but just like anger and anxiety and just constant chaos. I learned to just like try to be a calming force in life. I get that.
I don't know if it was like that for you as well, but I learned really early how to play possum, like stop, like pretending almost like I'm dead for a second, so nobody would look, and everybody would calm down, and then come back. That's a skill that you develop
same thing.
In some situation. And I just want to make clear, like, again, my parents are not, you know, they're good people and stuff like that. I'm talking about, how do you call it, minutia, like small things, but it piled up in the years and stuff that I wasn't even realizing. So stuff that I completely removed and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I mean, look, every family has a dynamic. It doesn't make anyone a bad person. It's just we're all just humans trying to get through this crazy life of ours. So I get it. I totally get it. All right. So let's call it here.
We just talked about comic for the labs for like 5 minutes out of 1 hour. I hope people will enjoy it anyways.
But we told some very funny stories, and the Matteo dressed up bits. Jamie, you got to get those in.
Yeah. And
Get
by the
those
way,
pictures
I
to
was
Jamie.
hoping we had enough time for me to tell the Naples story, but it's gonna be another time.
You want to tell
No,
it? I mean,
it's pretty long.
you want to do it another time?
Yeah. It's
so
gonna
we'll-
be long.
we'll-
So
We'll do that next time. All right,
Yeah,
cool,
all right.
cool. All right. Well, the Fratelli brothers, thank you for listening. So I'm going to hit stop, Matteo.
This is the Inkpulp podcast. This is the Inkpulp podcast. Comics, hip hop, life.